hard place to be in. On all these other prisons, you got Rikers Island, you got all these different other places. In Chicago, it's the Cook County lockup. You don't want to go to Cook County lockup, for sure. You don't ever go to jail, period. But if you really don't want to go to the Cook County lockup, because it's just hard in there. Paul is in prison in Rome, basically the most powerful city in existence of the time. Rome, the Roman soldiers who were trained to fight fiercely. And they would put Paul, they would put 3, 4, not just 3, 4 guards, but groups of guards to guard Paul. All the believers that got locked up, they would put extra guards around the believers and stuff. But Paul, he's on house arrest. But he still doesn't have freedom. He's still locked up. He's still in prison. He still can't do what he wants to do on a day-to-day basis because he is in jail. He is locked up. But Paul is writing letters of encouragement to churches, to people from prison. I know a lot of people that have been in jail at different times in their life. When you're in jail, you're not thinking about others. You're not thinking about who you can encourage. You're thinking about why you got in there. You're thinking about how you can survive while you're in there. You're thinking about when you're getting out, what you're going to do when you get out, and what you can do to not get back in jail. That's what a person in their right mind is thinking. Some people are thinking, you know what, I can't make it out there. So when I'm released, I'm coming back in. But they're thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about anybody else. But Paul is in jail. Paul has been in prison for preaching the gospel. Paul didn't break the law. Paul didn't kill anybody. He didn't jaywalk. He didn't exceed the speed limit. He didn't embezzle money. He didn't entrap anybody, falsely entrap. He didn't kidnap anybody. He didn't forge anybody's name. Paul preached the gospel and was thrown in jail. Paul preached the gospel and was thrown in jail. And when Paul was in jail, Paul wrote letters to encourage people. He wrote letters to instruct people. He wrote letters to tell people how to have a stronger Christian walk. Paul, this is Paul sitting in jail. Not thinking about himself, not wallowing in his situation, not questioning God, not doing any of that. He's not even asking him to pray that he get out. He's not asking him for money to get out. He's not asking him round up some money to get a lawyer to get me out of this place. He's not even asking that. Paul is just the only thing Paul asks for. Let's read verse 18. Praying with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints. Verse 19. And for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. That's all that Paul asked for from jail. He's on house arrest for preaching the gospel. And his only prayer for himself is that, Lord, give me an utterance so that I can speak your word boldly where I am. And after I get out, that's all he asks for himself. He didn't pray. He's not praying. He didn't ask prayer for his safety. He didn't ask prayer for his well-being. He didn't ask them to send anything to make his condition better. Paul is in jail. Paul is in house arrest in Rome. And the only thing Paul asks is that the people pray for him, that he be bolder, that he preach more boldly, that he do the thing that he was thrown in for, that he do it with more boldness. Oh, come on now. Oh, now. Now that, pardon me, that's some gangster stuff right there. Paul was a gangster. You throw today a drug dealer in jail, you throw somebody else in jail that was breaking the law and meant to break the law, they're That's what they're thinking about. How they can do it better when they get out. How they can still influence. How they can still do it while they're in. How they can still get to their street connections while they're in, because you can't stop me. You can't stop me. I'm in jail, yeah. You can't stop me. I still got my connections out there. I still got my power out on the streets. That's what they're thinking. They're not saying, go get me a lawyer so I can get out of here. Or just start sending money in so I can make my bail. No. Judge said 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10, however long they're in there, they're serving that time. But they're thinking, you know what? Get me somebody so I can still influence the streets with what I'm doing. How is it that the gangsters and the thugs have a closer mindset to Paul than some believers do? And we don't even get thrown in jail. We haven't even been to jail. We come across a hard time. Somebody persecutes us for sharing the gospel. Somebody looks down upon us for doing what it is that we do for God. And we think of, well, how can I be less offensive? Maybe I need to tone it down. Maybe I need to move to another area that's more receptive of the gospel. Maybe I need to go somewhere nicer. Find more nicer people to hang around. Or just move. I know. I'll move back to the Bible Belt. They like the Bible there. They don't. They're not so violent against. They're not so hostile to the word and believers there. I'll just move to the Bible Belt. No, that's not the mindset that Paul is demonstrating here. Paul is thrown in jail. He's thrown in jail in Rome. And his only request is that they pray for him, that he receive an utterance. And for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. Lord, help me do what I was doing better. Help me to do what I was doing. Pray this for me. He didn't say pray my release. Pray, please, that I would receive an utterance. And he's very specific here. That I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. And the mystery of the gospel is a mystery to those who do not know it, who have not heard it, who have not received it, that he may boldly open his mouth. This is Paul's call to action. It is so significant. Where we look at David, who went through all the things that he went through. And he said, I will bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. Now that Jesus has come and gone, Paul ramps it up just a little bit. Paul lives what David proclaimed. Paul is living what David proclaimed. I will bless the Lord at all times. Paul, in this letter, he's encouraging the saints. That's blessing the Lord. He's instructing the saints on how to live a life pleasing to God. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth.